is up, you guys? Hope you're having a great day today. My name is Nick, and I'm here with Urbexcross, and I'm going to be talking to you about why I bought the KLX250 and why it might be the right bike for you or the wrong bike for you. So I guess just to kick things off, I guess a little bit of backstory. I have always been a fan since I was a little kid of motocross. I feel like motocross was super duper cool, supercross was super cool. I went to a race when I was a little kid, so that kind of set the template for what I was looking for in a dirt bike or motorcycle of that sort. So when the idea of buying a motorcycle or a dirt bike popped into my head, I knew I had a few goals. One, obviously take it off-road, hence the appeal in a dirt bike. But I kind of was afraid of riding on roads. It kind of freaked me out. I had some family members who passed away from riding on the road with like Harleys and stuff, so riding on the road was not something I was very stoked to embark on. And I have a friend, Mac, who he has a DR650 that he rides around on-road, off-road. He's been using it as his daily commuter for, going on probably 6 or 7 or 8 years now. He suggested a dual sport, and I knew absolutely nothing about motorcycles, dirt bikes, dual sports, sportsters, anything like that at all. I have a background as an artist. I've been a professional mural artist and mural painter on buildings and stuff for the past probably 5 or so years. So I don't know a lot about motorcycles. I don't know a lot about dual sports, but what I do know is I had a passion for supercross and motocross visually. I feel like it looks really cool. It's awesome how everybody has so much style. They can jump around and do backflips and do massive, scrubs over hills and ramps, and it looks cool as hell. So, when the idea of buying a dirt bike or something popped in my head, I was like, dude, I want, like most people, the biggest, baddest race bike around. But, before I ended up pulling the trigger on anything, I looked around, watched a bunch of videos of what people decided to buy as their first bike, and thankful that a lot of people on YouTube were suggesting, hey, like, look, you do not want to get a 450 souped up straight from the factory and also pay that price. I mean, I do not have that much money sitting around. I can't just buy a freaking, massive race bike and just start sending it as my first bike. I could not afford that. So ended up having to look on the used market. Good thing about looking on the used market is if you kind of know what you're looking for or have a goal in mind, and you also have a friend who either knows a little bit about motorcycles, or you have a dad or an uncle or somebody who knows a bit about engines and things of the like, and go check a few bikes out. Bring that other person around and have them take a look, have them test ride it, and just kind of make sure things aren't completely clapped out beyond belief. So back to the point, race bikes aesthetically are what I thought was super duper cool. But one, can't afford them. Two, would probably kill me if I got one. Be super duper dangerous. I'd probably loop it out constantly. So I was looking for something very beginner friendly. A lot of things came up. There were people saying, oh, you can get like a 125 4-stroke big wheel, which is basically kind of a pit bike with bigger wheels on it, which that had some appeal, but at the same time, I'm not a light guy. I mean, I weigh 235 pounds. I'm not a light dude by any stretch. So I feel like I wanted something with a little bit more oomph. And, my buddy was rocking a 650cc 4-stroke. Yes, that's tuned more for road riding, but he kind of was like, look, dude, I think if you get a 4-stroke 250, you'll probably be all right. You're not going to completely loop out all the time. It's got enough oomph, but it's perfectly good enough to learn on. So that brings me to one of the pros of this bike. It's very, very beginner friendly. The throttle response is very smooth. It's not the type of thing where you just give it a little bit of throttle and you completely are doing a wheelie. I mean, you can give this thing, I'm right behind this car and watch. it takes a minute for it to really start to catch in and get you propelled forward. So it's comfortable, man, as a beginner. I've been really loving it, especially off-road too. It's nothing too crazy. Brings me to another pro of this bike is the seat height. That's another thing that was very important to me. You know, when you first start out, and especially if you're doing trail riding or going through mud and stuff like that, you're gonna have to learn a tremendous amount about balance and also clutch control, and you know, you're just gonna be a beginner, and you're gonna probably fall a couple times, which I'll be the first to say it. I've fallen a lot, man. Thankfully, pretty, you know, low speeds and things like that, but falling from a really, really high seat height, like a lot of these KTMs and, you know, Husqvarnas and things like that, you're gonna be really struggling. You know, when you first start riding, you're gonna need to kind of put your feet down from time to time, and you know, you basically want to set yourself up for success and not failure. And I feel like if you get too tall of a bike, you're really gonna be struggling. I'm about 5'7", 5'8", so you know, this bike is definitely on the smaller end compared to, like, you know, KTM 500s and things of that sort. So yeah, it's very, very, the seat height is very comfortable for a guy like me in my position. Another pro to this kind of a 4-stroke bike is that, dude, it takes regular gas, man. You basically just take this thing to the gas station, fill it up. It costs like freaking, I don't know, $7 to $10 to fill up, and then, dude, you're good to go for a few days. You don't have to mix, you know, 2-stroke oil and gas and measure a bunch of shit. Like, dude, if you, I guess that's another pro, is that if you're mechanically not inclined, this bike is the shit, dude. You don't have to really know how to do hardly anything other than maybe oil your chain, do an oil change every now and again, but you can also take it somewhere for a quick oil change that's gonna basically cost you next to nothing. So that's something that was a pro for me. Barrier to entry was extremely low. I've had a car for a long time. Shoot, if I could put gas in a car, I could put gas in a motorcycle. So that's a good pro. I'm making this video for people who, you know, tangentially know a little bit about dirt bikes and motorcycles, but really have very little knowledge, like myself. Because I was always kind of intimidated, man. Like, I just see a lot of people working on their motorcycles and shit, and I didn't know how much I would have to do that, or really how that kind of shit works. Here, let's do a little downhill hill climb action. Start the day out with a little hill climb action. Anyways, back to my point. Yeah, dude, it's got plenty of oomph for little stuff like that, man. If I got like a 125 4-stroke big wheel, yeah, you could probably climb hills and stuff with it relatively, but it just doesn't really have the balls that it needs to do kind of crazy shit like that. Ooh, it is chewed up down there. Actually, I do not want to go down there. I'm not feeling that. I'll go down here. Hope it's not a bad decision. Holy God. Ooh. There we go. Alrighty. Go. It says do not disturb. Well, I think we are disturbed, my friend.
Are you recording it?
Yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. That's so fun. Alright, let's dip off the road here. hug this little border over here. I do not want to be seen from that apartment complex over there. Just tuck back behind the hill here. Nothing to see here, folks. Holy cow. So much trash down here. That is crazy shit. This is my favorite part right here. Hell yeah. That was tight. Okay, sorry, I'm having an absolute blast today. So my buddy had mentioned possibly like a CRF something or other. And so that was a possible option I was considering. Let's climb this mug real quick. So much freaking fun, man. Woo. Another pro with the KLX is its weight. It's relatively closer to a dirt bike. I think wet weight, fully fueled and oiled and everything is around 300 something pounds, whereas supercross bikes are in the, I don't know, like 250 range, 240, 250 range. So it's close to just a motor, like a dirt bike in terms of weight. Yeah, relatively lightweight. As soon as you get in the, I don't know, some of the more road-centric dual sport pricings are around, I don't know, they're like 350, almost 400 pounds. I know my buddy's DR weighs 1 metric crap ton. Every time I ride that thing, I'm like, holy shit, dude, how do you take this thing off-road? So once you go off-road, it's a little bit better for things to be somewhat lighter. I don't know how people off-road in those massive adventure bikes. More power to them. They must be stronger than I. But lightweight for this thing means that when you dip, you fall over, it's pretty easy to pick it back up. It's not so heavy it's gonna put you, straining your back super bad. I mean, granted, it ain't light. It's not a super light race bike to pick up, but I mean, dude, come on. Another good pro is the suspension on this is kind of set up for road riding, so it's super duper cushy, man. It's really, really comfortable. Yes, if you're doing massive motocross jumps and huge leaps in the air, you're gonna bottom this thing out pretty often, but man, if you're just a beginning rider and you're just going on a few trails trying to just learn how to ride a dirt bike or a motorcycle, this is your ticket, dude. And a lot of the stuff that I'm saying about this KLX250, I would also mirror for like a Honda CRF 250F. That's kind of in a very similar range. I think the 250F has a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more beef in there, but the 250F also doesn't come road ready with turn signals and brake lights and things like that. So that was a big selling point for me on this thing. As soon as I did consider like, hey, maybe a dual sport is kind of what I'm looking for, the pricing of some of those was a little bit much. And then as soon as you start to consider pricing, you want to be able to put as little extra shit on here as you have to save money. So I got a really good deal on this KLX. I purchased, it's a 2014, so it's not the newest thing in the world, but new enough. Had relatively low miles on it. I've even seen these things sell for 5K, 4.5. That's USD, by the way. And so, I mean, I don't necessarily know if the guy knew the quality of what he had, but I mean, I damn well scooped that thing up for the price that I got it for. All right, now let's do a few negatives, man. We might go back to some positives, but a negative for this thing is the freaking stock tires, bro. Good God. The stock tires on this thing were ass. Absolute ass. Oof, that is a tree. Yeah, the stock tires on this were rough, bro. If you wanted to do any freaking off-roading, they were not where it's at. So I ended up purchasing Kenda Trackmasters, and they kick absolute ass, man. I've been loving the Kenda Trackmasters, dude. They eat gnarly shit like this for breakfast, which is super fun. Yes, on the road, they're a little bit vibraty, but I mean, not too bad, to be honest. Not too bad. I've been pleasantly surprised with how they handle on the road, truth be told. They feel relatively planted. Yes, I wouldn't completely lean the damn thing over and supermoto that shit, but, you know, when you're a beginner, you shouldn't be doing that shit anyways. Oh, let's go through this puddle here. Hell yeah, boy. Alright, another negative is if you are already experienced as a motorcycle or dirt bike rider, it doesn't have insane amount of power. If you're wanting to do crazy shit and big jumps and like all kinds of gnarly shit like that, this is not the bike for you, man. You're looking for a KTM or something in that range. But that's okay. If you're not looking to jump crazy shit and you're just trying to hit a freaking log every once in a while, you can do a lot on this. Another negative. I'm struggling to come up with another negative. I mean, for me, it checks a lot of the boxes, dude. If you're trying to be a casual rider, pop a few wheelies every now and again. Granted, I'm not quite there yet. I'll learn to wheelie eventually. Right now, I'm just starting to learn little clutch pops to jump over little puddles and logs and things like that. That's been my practice point. But I'll figure wheelies out eventually. I'm not quite there yet, and that's okay. I guess on the cons list as well, the weight is also an option. You know, if you are trying to ride more difficult, more, you know, heavy, hard enduro type of shit, this bike's heavy, man, and you're not going to be able to climb some of those hills that your KTM buddies are going to be able to do. So that's something you should definitely know about. Don't, you know, set your expectations realistically on this thing, because yes, you can have a blast on it, but it's not going to be able to do 100% dirt bike things. This is the kind of bike that's not going to do anything amazingly other than be an introductory motorcycle, and it's going to do everything decently, a little bit, you know, which I think for your beginner dirt bike or dual sport or motorcycle is huge. I've learned a tremendous amount on this thing, and it's been an absolute blast. Every Monday, try to go ride with my buddy Mac. Dude, it's been a freaking good time. Been a hilarious time too. Every day we're just clowning, laughing around, doing all kinds of fun stuff. And he's getting more out of it than I, because he doesn't usually fall that often. So, you know, I'm trying to learn the clutch and the acceleration and my shifting and things like that. So, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm only maybe 4 or 5 months into riding at all. I've not been riding that long, so it's super duper new to me. But I have been loving every single second of it, man. So those are a few of the reasons why this KLX is perfect for me. Relatively lightweight, very, very beginner friendly, not too tall, just enough power. Relatively affordable. I did a few mods on this thing just to make things a little easier on myself. I put these bark busters, I took these crazy stock mirrors off that were hanging up to here, put these power mads on. Put new foot pegs on. I don't know if you can see those. They're a lot wider. I have one of the first videos on my channel I put up. I feature all of the different mods I put on this thing. And I was just modding it to be exactly what I need it to be. So some of those mods may not apply to what you're trying to do, but for me, they made a massive difference. But the biggest mod of all, dude, if you do get a KLX250 or a KLX300, get some Kinda Trackmasters or some Trusty Sports, man. Get some good tires on that shit. Otherwise, you're going to be cussing up a storm. You're going to be falling a lot. I fell a lot on my stock tires, but it kind of helped, truth be told. Like, if you're trying to learn balance and shit, you'll have to learn it pretty quick. You can't always rely on good tires, so that's something to consider too. Another con that I would say on this bike as well is going to be that freaking whale tail back fender. Oh my god. I almost didn't buy the bike just because of the freaking back fender. Thankfully, my buddy Mac was like, look dude, it's pretty easy to take that shit off. So that was the first mod we made. We took that whale tail off the back. That thing is absurd. But to each their own. If you think it looks rad, dude, good on you, man. I do not. I think it looks like really, 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 really goofy. Another pro, this thing does pretty decent on roads as well. It's not going to be like you're riding a dirt bike specific. So once you get 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, some of those bikes, it's going to be like you're ringing them out. The RPMs are just spiking, and it's like, oh damn, look at that. Oof. Yeah, this bike in particular, I would say, does really good on the road. 40 miles an hour, it feels comfortable, dude. It loves it. I feel like that's its prime. 35, 40, 50 miles an hour, it's just chilling, dude. It's hanging out there like it's nothing. Another con that I would love to bring up is it's a little dated looking, man. I hate to say that. It's just got some shapes on the plastics that are just, they look a little old, man. So that was another big thing I wanted to do to this bike as well, is to try to modernize it, bring it back to up to modern times. So I put all kinds of sharp shapes and geometric stuff on the side of it to, you know, kind of give it that KTM modern Honda sort of a vibe. And I think it really helped a lot. Like, once you take the whale tail off the back, you start to put a new graphics kit, it starts to really change the way this thing looks. I mean, now, damn dude, it looks like a straight up dirt bike. Once it looks like a legit dirt bike and you start riding on the road, it feels kind of strange, man. Driving around on these roads out here with what looks like a straight up dirt bike. It's kind of funny, dude. It looks a little ridiculous, but I think it's cool. Look at this, up to 50 like it's nothing. And it's just hanging out here, dude. I've just been absolutely loving this bike, man. As somebody who's completely new to the sport, completely new to motorcycles and stuff, I have found this thing extremely user-friendly. Easy to get a hang of. The throttle's super tame. Yes, there's some mods that you can do to really wake this beast up, take some of the environmental stuff off, cut a little bit of extra weight off of it and give it a little bit more torque, but for right now I'm learning so much and I'm enjoying it so much. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how I'm looking at it right now. I'm just gonna keep working it, keep trying to get used to the way everything is on it, and do a little bit of maintenance here and there, start to learn more about engines. Another good plus is it's extremely easy to work on. Parts are extremely available, dude. If you need anything, you could damn near go to an Ace Hardware or something and probably find half of what you're looking for. So very, very easy to work on. Parts are extremely available. If you got some European fancy bike, parts are going to be expensive. I've heard KTMs referred to often as keeps taking money. And if you don't have a lot of money, you can't afford to keep having it taken. So this thing's been super duper chill, money-wise. Speaking of Kayla, the KLX here, she needs a bath. She's been dirty from riding around and having a blast. Let's give her a bath. Oh my god, bro. The fuck is this garbage, bro? The fuck ever, dude. Give me a fucking break, bro. What's high pressure? Wow. Love when shit's broken that I fucking pay for. It's super rad.